Hi, good morning. Happy Monday. Wow. I love pulling my cards out. Goodness, goodness, goodness. I know when I had listed it on there, I thought it was 12, but it won't be 12. It'll always be 11:30. And then I know that we're shifting an awful lot of energy for sure. Uranus just went direct. So let's look at our ephemeris and see what that is doing for us right now. Okay. All right. Ooh, I'm already into. Come on back. All right. Let's see. So today is Monday the 9th. Well, it's naturally a day of mastery. So let's find out how this is all going to work. So moon's in Scorpio. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So, uh, bumping against the planets, I guess, energetically. And I'm asking them some questions because I see that Mercury just dipped into Pisces, right? And that's going to be with Saturn. Next Sunday, Saturn is going to go into um, Aries. Goodness. Yeah, we have a lot of energy that we're like looking at right now. So let's see. Jupiter's still retrograde at 16 degrees in Cancer. So still dialing us down into our emotions. That'll be, oh, heck yeah. So Mercury goes retrograde in Pisces on the 26th. All right. So let's see. Oh, it'll only stay there for 3 weeks. That's how long it stays anyway. And then go direct again in March. So March, the first 1, 2.5 weeks of March. It's not bad. I actually feel a sneeze. There we are. My apologies. Okay. Goodness. Let me see. At 3 degrees, but you also have, excuse me, Venus coming out and going into Pisces on the 11th. So they're both going to join Saturn for the last little tidbits of dreams ending. So communications, real property, different things like that. That's like what's taking place. Uranus went direct on the 3rd. So I'm sure that we all thought, oh, the 4th, I think. Let me see. I have my little ruler on the 4th. So when Uranus goes direct, everything that's been kind of shaken up or looked at materially because it's in its least favorable position, okay? Because it's in its least favorable position, it shows you first when it's in retrograde the things that you have to look at that are physical, like the I have, all of the material aspects. And then when it goes direct, it starts to dissolve all of the things that it showed you. That's just how that works. So, especially if you're a Taurus, so I'm a Taurus, and for the last 8 years, I've had the pleasure of working with Uranus in that way. It is mind blowing how much I was holding on to in physical aspect and no longer am. So there we are. Anyway, All right. Holding that. You know, they're going to both be at 0 degrees on the 15th. Yeah, there's a good lineup. All right. So we have Mercury retrograde approaching. That's in like 3 weeks. I would say 1, 2, 3 weeks. And the 3-week period leading up to it, because it's usually a 3-week period. So 3 weeks prior to, and then 3 weeks after. So it's like a 9-week period. There's shadow. The shadow is all about cleaning up the communication. So you're being shown things right now. And when it goes retrograde, it's what you work on. And then when you come back, you see what you apply. And that's how it works. Most of the things that we experience planetarily are explained through the magnetics. You know what I mean? The magnetics of the planets. And because it's explained in that way, it allows you to view that you're the same. You're like a spinning ball in the middle of like the universe. Okay? All right. All right. Nice. Yeah, I have Russian friends. I have great Russian friends. Some of them do Reiki. All right, here's our first card. This is kind of like, ooh, let's pull another card because it's a trump card. Okay, situationally. Fuck. All right, so there's just like a lot of chaos around us. Remember, we had started and I told you that the moon's in Scorpio right now. So the moon's in Scorpio. This card that came up that is representational to the meaning of the trump card that we got. The trump card that we got was the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is all about doing. She's all about showing up. Now, it also represents the divine feminine, and that's what's actually happening. The minute that Mars moved into Aquarius with the sun, Mercury and Venus, it was like a party. And what was ended up happening is that the divine feminine on planet woke up. So everybody kind of woke up on Saturday, the 24th of January, going, oh, this is how it works. And your intuition literally turned on. Okay. And that's okay. It's you learning to trust your emotions to navigate your experience as well. And that's what that is. So because this is a Queen of Wands is about passion, drive, motivation, nurturing, wanting to know how to take care of maybe kids first, then centrifying the kids and putting community around it, and then seeing how to support that. And that's pretty much what Divine Feminine does. So I wanted to know whether or not it was a person. Like, is that for us to bring in like people? Are there people that are going to show up for this? And what I got was a second card. Second card is Venus. Venus for the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is water. So you have fire, water. That's the same combination you have as Neptune in Aries right now. This is a very Aries card. And in that, you have Neptune, who's a grown-up body that is in the placement doing maybe 14 to 16 years. And Neptune represents faith, a lot of faith. Like, what are your beliefs? And in those beliefs, how can you navigate a higher consciousness? Because Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, which is also water, right? And the moon represents Cancer, which means our moods change every 2 days about expansion. So it's very natural for us to feel all the chaotic energy that's represented in the cups right now. The cups being the one that has Venus on it, and it's 7. So it represents like lots of choices. There's lots of choices for us, right? So we're beginning this, and we have a passionate drive to selection. We're very overwhelmed with the choices, and so that's what this would initiate be. And so that's the recognition that we're in. We're recognizing that our material nature is not staying succinct or working the way that we would like for it to. We're very motivated to use divine feminine energy to try to solve it. So we're really checking into our feelings. A lot of times when you start to move into divine feminine intuitive energy, you'll find that you're very full of a lot of emotions, or you're feeling other people an awful lot. When you're feeling other people an awful lot, or you're full of your emotions, you need to process those so that your intuition works properly. That's how you navigate life. It's where you make up constructs. Somebody had mentioned that your gut instinct, right? Your gut instinct is a construct that you provide, that you've created during a trauma or a wound, that says, hey, this seems like similar energy. I don't know if this is right. And that is not decisive energy. Decisive energy is of the mind and of the heart. The heart is an actual brain, the head, an actual brain, and they process informational energetic signals differently. Similar, but different. They don't usually give two different vibrations for the same experience. They give similar adjacent vibrations for interpretation of your experience. All right. If you have trauma wounds or bonds that that are deeply seated and you're unwilling to kind of look at them, they're coming up right now. They're coming up deep, deep, deep. All right. So there's a lot of emotions. Everybody moved into, all of our personal planets moved into Aquarius, and now we finally have Mercury, who is our planet of communication, the way that we communicate, right? Move into yeah, I'm not doing that right now. I'll do it tomorrow at 4. That's when I'll do like the energy shifts tomorrow. Today, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of set up our week. We're going to set up our week for like what we know or think is it is, because that brings us into our body. The minute that we come into our body, choice, all right, is naturally going to expand. It'll expand in such a way that at first it might be overwhelming. And so that's why we get like this 7 of Cups. Okay. So the 7 of Cups is like an overwhelm, but it's also, we need to navigate this with our divine feminine energy, because that's what water is. Fire is masculine energy, and this is a very feminine representation of it. All right. So it's asking us to call in our emotions and really trust them. What are our emotions saying? And the easiest way to regulate your emotions is through meditation or allowance. So then we move into a message. So let's see what the message is. Ooh, okay. So, oh yeah. So how long is Venus in Aquarius? Let's see. All right. Because she's moving out shortly and going into, because I just saw that. Ooh, so the 11th. All right. So the 11th, that's in 2 days. That'll be on Wednesday. Wednesdays. How interesting. A lot of shifts on Wednesdays so far. All right. Anyway, she'll be going into Pisces. And as she moves into Pisces, it gets a little muddy because she is air and water. And because she's air and water, there's going to be a triple element aspect to it, right? And there has to be some navigation, because water will make earth muddy. Okay. All right. So here's the message from like all of the planetary movement. All right. The message is, again, take action, but small actions, actions that will navigate and help you with your situational understandings. The reason is because you're in your reasoning right now, and you need to embody what you mean by that so that you can act the way that you would like and have more control over your situation. When you employ your energy that way, what ends up happening is you relax into your experience and you navigate it in a right now sense rather than a future sense or a what happened last time experience. And it's a 5, and it also has Venus. This is very interesting. So Venus is our indicator today. Venus is a planet of love and material wealth and thoughtful communication, nurturing with divine feminine energy. She's a representation of our personal divine feminine material aspect and home and hearth and how we execute our delight for children and things like that. And what we received was that we're really in this moment of what do we trust? Like, what do we trust? And the message, this is the messenger. So it was a page. Okay. Page of Wands. So we got the Queen of Wands, Page of Wands. So we're staying in an actionable state. We already know the type of action we need to take is feminine, divine feminine energy. So how you feel about a situation is how you need to behave. Okay. If the situation is difficult, step back from the situation, check your feelings, make sure everything's okay with you. You first. You have to check you first. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to assess through that lens of how you feel good. Okay, what's working, what's not, and that'll help. The other card that we got with that lets us know what the message is a Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is just before you go into solution. Okay, it's just before you go into solution. So sometime this week, we already know that Venus is moving from Aquarius into Pisces, and that's going to show us like quite a few things about like how life operates, right? If we pay attention. Right now, there's a lot of people who are overwhelmed with emotions. Plus, Pluto and Aquarius, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Pluto and Aquarius is all about like partnership as well. And partnerships, like romantic partnerships, dissolve like quicker than salt in water. And that's because it's identity. It's about your identity. How are you willing to show up? And if you're not willing to show up for the individual the way that they're showing up for you, you're going to see the discrepancy. When you see the discrepancy, you might be inclined to blame it on them. If you're blaming it on them, then your work is not finished. If you have exhausted everything that you possibly can do and you had the conversations, then you've come to the realization that you have finished your energetic work together. All right. Okay, so I would say that the way this is leaning is, pardon me, is into like relationships in general, the relationships that you have in general, and how are you going to nurture them? How are you going to show up? What is it you would like to experience? You need to communicate. Communication is going to be key in your relationship. With Mercury being with Pisces right now, you're learning about all of your dreams. Like, what am I hoping for? What am I looking for? And talking in that very new sort of aspect to Saturn, who's looking for construct, something that's going to give you foundation to take you where it is that you're asking to be, right? Okay. Ooh. Okay. I think that we got a lot of trump cards, so I'm going to go ahead and pull another card. This time it's the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is, I love her. She's very Piscean energy. So we're in Piscean energy, right? And that means that Saturn, so for me, as I look at it, I got like a clue that's going to direct how we operate when Saturn moves into Aries. All right. Saturn is another male energy that wants to, I'll say masculine. It's male and female energy. Okay. We gender it because of its ability. So male energy is push, action, promotion. Female energy is attraction, contemplation, envelopment. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're all on a spiritual lesson. Good luck. Have a nice week. No. All right. So we're to embody what's going on with Jupiter in Cancer. and understand that the expansion of our emotions is natural and necessary to our survival. We do need to dip out of apathy and into caring and concern for one another. And we are in, it's funny because fives are about faith and conflict. And the five that we got of the swords is showing us our mental conflict that we have to be adjacent to doing what we know is right for humanity. And if we step away from that, what happens is that we fight ourselves. So that's that internal chaos that we create because we're not being aligned to who we are. Okay. So for the final aspect of the weekly reading, okay, we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is about moving water at great volumes, which means flow. So you're looking at flow. So moving your intuition freely, looking and seeking freely what makes you feel good. All right, that's a form of intuition. Checking in with yourself and finding out what you're intuiting about your surroundings and your situations. That's healthy. It's also going to be necessary. And so because this is a Taurus card, which is the Hierophant or faith, right? That is the next aspect of the lesson that we're in. Okay. So as we're in this faith, this is a 5 as well. And this is about figuring out what's important to you. A lot of times we think that the physical aspect is important. It's more important than the spiritual aspect, or the spiritual aspect is more important than the thoughtful, logical aspect. And all of them go together. Looking for balance in those, mind, body, spirit, it gives you what it is that you're looking for. All right, so here we go. I'll do a fast draw, and then we're going to do a mini meditation, okay? All right. We started out with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands asked for us to go ahead and have an understanding, okay? The understanding is that we have a lot of choice that we need to action. We need to move away from chaos. We need to choose something and move forward with it. That will help us. The message from that was that the action doesn't have to be big. It can be small, yet it is necessary. You will have to choose one, even though you're in those conflicting thoughts, and have faith. You'll need to move into where you believe your destiny or fate lies. In conclusion, or in support, the Queen of Cups shows up to let you know that you're working with divine feminine energy, and it is flow. It's all about flow. All right. And in that flow, again, we get reminded to have faith that everything is working out for us and that all is well. Those are some pretty tall orders coming from cards, right? And I know that, not having substantial foundation can really take you out. So I thought that what I'd do for this particular broadcast, it's 11:55. And if you're not driving and or operating heavy equipment, I would love to take you into a meditation. And we're going to designate it and apply it to the world, okay? This could be our pinky in the brain moment, okay? So before it was, there was this question. Happy Monday. Can I ask if you see any energies disrupting me so I can be most clear in my own energy? I would love to sustain this more and be able to focus on my own life desires. Correct. This is that part of the program. Okay. So what I'd like for everybody to do, as long as you're not doing anything else that takes you away from this focus, if it takes you away, come back and watch it, and then you can do the meditation at that time. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to notice your body. Just notice your body. Notice different bits and pieces of your body. Anywhere that you would like. Focus on bits and pieces of your body and how it feels and relax it. Feel it and relax it. Feel it and relax it again. I want you to notice your breathing and extend it a little bit. Slow it down. Ooh, lots of emotions, huh? Keep breathing. Noticing your breath and how your body feels. And I want you to imagine or pretend that your body is beginning to turn into energy and water. You're noticing that while it has form, it still has movement. And in that form and movement, you become all things. And as you become all things, you're aligning your energy to your surroundings, to who you are in the moment, and you're dipping deeper into your heart chakra, basically. So you're coming into here, into this space. And in this noticing, we want to add some words. Let's add some words that will support us in this focus. Let's add peace. What does peace feel like? What does gratitude feel like? And just stay there for a second. A few more seconds. A few more seconds. Breathe. Focus on your breathing again. Let any emotions that are coming up for you that feel somewhat overwhelming just pop out. We're going to recognize them. Some of it could be hurt, anger, fear, powerlessness, overwhelm. And let's just imagine or pretend that there is a beautiful basket in front of us. And this beautiful basket is just taking all of the overwhelm and the emotions that are difficult for us. We can just put it right into the basket. Take a nice deep breath in. Hold it. And then exhale through your mouth. Everything that you don't want to carry any longer. And then settle deeper into your body. All right? I know it feels energetic because you're very aware of your surroundings. You're aware of you, you're aware of your mind, and you're aware of your heart. So it's perfect, okay? Now what we want to do is we want to create balance and harmony in our energetic bodies, okay? So I like to look for authenticity, which is the absence of all of the emotion and thought. And that's like my little reset. So I do this reset. So I breathe in to the top of my head, release, relax, 1. I breathe into my forehead, release, relax, 2. Breathe into my cheeks, release, relax, 3. I breathe into my throat and neck, release, relax, 4. I breathe into my feet, release, relax, 5. I breathe into my legs, release, relax, 6. Breathe into my hips, Release, relax, 7. Breathe into all of my back. Release, relax, 8. And breathe into all of my front. Release, relax, 9. I breathe into my hands and arms and shoulders. And I release from my shoulders, down my arms, and out my fingertips, 10. Continue breathing. I stay in this authenticity as long as I'm able, and it literally resets my nervous system. It allows me to let go of what I have pulled in so closely to look at, and it becomes all the energy around me, and now I can designate it or redesignate it in a different way. I can say things like harmony, joy, appreciation. And literally, those words become notes in the symphony of the energy I'm practicing. I'm not looking to feel anybody else's energy up, right? I'm looking to decide what mine is. And that's the key. That's always going to be the key. I love you guys. I wish you many blessings. It's been lovely. Thank you.